Hey, I'm Ross. I bet you're probably accomplishing a fair bit of success. Perhaps you just aced the test. Maybe you got a job that's really above your pay grade. Maybe you're on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram and you're getting a load of followers. Perhaps people are just liking all your posts. Perhaps people are even commenting saying how great and inspirational you are. But, do you really deserve it? Of course you do. But you feel like you don't. You feel like you're lying. In fact, you feel like at any moment someone's going to call you out for being a fraud. But I've got news for you. About 70 to 80% of all people, especially those in successful positions, feel like this on the daily. And this feeling has a name. It's called the Impostor Syndrome. You can name that demon. The Impostor Syndrome is just that. You feel like you're fooling everyone, that you're lying, that this is the only way you've managed to get to where you are. But since I've already highlighted that 70 to 80% of all people feel this way, especially those accomplishing a wide amount of success, you know that probably isn't true. In fact, the only lying you're doing is to yourself. So we've now established that you feel this way and that I felt this way. So how do we deal with it? How do we move on? How do we just accept this and get better? Well, it's not as hard as it sounds. But it does start with recognizing that you are not alone. That this is something that definitely affects a lot of people. Maybe some you probably don't even expect. In fact, Albert Einstein was one of the most famous cases. So we've now established that you are dealing with the imposter syndrome, but you are in fact not an imposter. So these imposter feelings can be dealt with. And besides first recognizing that you are in fact dealing with the imposter syndrome, there are other ways of moving on, of dealing with this. My favorite and first step is a conversation with yourself. And now this does take a bit of imagination, because not only do you have to be able to reflect and acknowledge the dialogue that's coming out from yourself and your insecurities when you feel these imposter feelings, but you must be able to talk back to them. This might help if you record a video and perhaps say the things that you're feeling. For example, in my case, I was telling myself that perhaps my hair wasn't nice enough, or perhaps people weren't going to find my videos useful. But here I am. I'm going to power through, because I feel like these messages, these feelings, they're relatable and perhaps useful. And if I can just get in contact with just one person, then it might be successful. Step 2. Now step 2 is equally as interesting, but maybe a mite bit harder. Because now you must start accepting and congratulating yourself for your success. Own it. You're doing fantastically. You're doing amazingly. And you should be proud of yourself. Enjoy that feeling. Acknowledge it. Let it wash over yourself. Because what you're doing is doing well by yourself. You are doing the things that you enjoy. And lastly, in what I feel is probably the most difficult step, is to form a new habit. Form a quick response plan to when you feel these feelings, for when you're down on yourself. So what should you do with these feelings? When these feelings occur and crop up and start creeping in, you want to capture them, you want to quiz them and interrogate them, because they won't hold up to scrutiny. They won't. I promise you that. So when they crop up, you want to ask yourself first, why am I feeling this way? Is this logical? Is this pushing me towards my goal? Are these feelings just trying to hold me back? Imagine it like a physical person trying to hold you down. It's wrong, right? Yeah, use that to fuel you. It's an injustice. You should not be hearing those things from other people, let alone yourself. Use that. Empower yourself to talk back, to stand up for yourself, to yourself. And that's how I do it. On the daily, believe it or not. Things come up all the time. And these are the things I use to feel better, to feel stronger and more motivated. And making this video was one of them. Thank you. Thanks for listening to me today. It really means a lot. Genuinely. It's more of a therapy session for myself, but I hope that listening in can perhaps motivate yourself to try and improve your situation, to acknowledge that perhaps you're not lying to everyone, and you're not alone. Now, I do want to plug something. I do actually run an online store. If you want to check it out, you're more than welcome. Obviously, it's not a necessity, but it's called Overly Dramatic Designs, or ODD for short. So overlydramaticdesigns.com is a store all about positivity, acceptance, and awareness for all things mental health related. Check it out. It's fun. It's a side project, but if it's something that gives you a bit of a smile or some joy, hopefully it does just that. And hopefully see you in the next one. Have a great day. Toodaloo.